Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
Team number 3 that slipped out of the way was the team that entered the season chasing 300. They got there almost in their first outing, 286. They also chased down 246 in another game. But the rest of the season, for runners-up Sunrisers Hyderabad, was far from what we came to expect. A lot of the chat was around the approach, Tom. Lived by it and thrived by it last year. Found out a bit this year. Where do they stand going into season 3?
Well, I think what we saw, the difference between this year and last year is the surfaces that the IPL was played on, and a welcome change, in my view, to have a contest between bat and ball, not every game, but most often, and not only just for the quick bowlers, but the spin bowlers came into the contest as well. I think that just, it gives you more layers of intrigue when you've got that situation. And I think in that change in surfaces, what we saw is Sunrisers trying to apply the same philosophy in challenging conditions and not sitting back and adjusting and evolving when conditions are slightly different. And that may only be 6 balls that you need to do that. It may be maybe 3 overs you might have to do that. But there was no sign of that. It was nearly like, no, this is who we are, this is our identity, this is our brand, and we've got the licence and we're going regardless. And they may be talking and thinking about it more internally than what we're seeing externally, but certainly what we saw was a team that was stubborn to change their method to the conditions that were on offer or the opposition.
Lack of adaptability, coupled with a lot of the people they invested in losing form to some extent. Does that sum up this season?
Yes, it does actually. And the one word that came to my mind as well was stubborn. That irrespective of the conditions, this is the way we are going to play. And it's like that life insurance policy or the mutual funds when you invest in, it always says there is an asterisk. It says conditions apply. So conditions must apply when you're actually as a batting unit, because conditions are going to decide and determine what is the right way to approach on that particular surface. They did not, which is a bit of a letdown, because they also didn't get the kind of surfaces they should have got at home. I'm a huge advocate of the fact that when you're at home, you must get what you want. Away from home, I mean, teams are allowed to do whatever they want. So you have 7 at home, 7 away. So you'll struggle when you are on the road, but you should at least thrive at home. That didn't happen. The other thing, of course, is Nitish Kumar Reddy had the skills to bat differently. Maybe Ishan Kishan also has the skills to bat differently. That also did not happen. So maybe it's down to the stubbornness or the overall philosophy, overarching philosophy that didn't allow them to try a different brand of cricket. Last but not the least, the bowling. They seriously felt when the auction happened, and all of us actually felt they now have an upgraded bowling attack with Harshal Patel and Mohammad Shami and Adam Zampa. It suddenly started to look a little better than what it was last season. It wasn't the case.
Yeah. I think that's a brilliant point, and I think there's obviously been so much focus on Sunrisers batting for good reason because of how they played last year. But if you think of the franchise and their history, and obviously the teams that Tom coached, they've always been historically a brilliant bowling attack. This season, at this point, their 3rd highest wicket taker is Jaydev Nagkat, who's only just come into the team with 7. And I think that tells a big story. I mean, their spin department has been basically non-existent since Adam Zampa was ruled out with an injury. They've tried a young leg spinner, but it's big pressure to have him as your only frontline spin option in the team. I think it's been, a hugely disappointing season for their attack.
Yeah, because as much as last season was about their batting and how it changed the landscape, their bowlers, I remember how impressed you were with a Natarajan and even a Bhuvi in his parts. The economies of less than 10 last season were exceptional. They didn't have that kind of bowling.
I was really surprised that they weren't on their shopping list, either retained or certainly picked up out of the auction, because that they know that environment inside out. They're two opposites in bowling as well. You've got one that is just premium new ball in Bhuvi, who has just done it year in, year out, and still undermines the very best at the top. And you've got Natarajan, who has been a revelation, really, as a defensive bowler. So great to get out of a power play, great to be able to slow someone down in the middle, and you can bank on 2 at the end with his skills and his temperament.